chair.
Yeah.
Is that bad?
Yeah, it's bad. This is Porrick. Porrick is my friend. Yes, we go to the same school.
Hello.
And we are driving to Auckland because he's going somewhere. He's traveling. So I'm gonna ask him some questions as an overseas trained teacher in New Zealand, which we are both until now, of course. How is it different for Filipinos being or moving to New Zealand? Will it be different for Irish people? Is it right? Or just
I'm Irish, yeah.
Where are you from?
I'm an Irish person from Ireland.
Yeah,
That's
he's
right.
from Ireland.
Right.
But before that, how did you come up, or how did you plan on going to New Zealand?
God, I must say first of all that since the camera's been turned on, I'm very nervous. So hopefully I'm able to
Share
articulate my words correctly.
and
so-
share your experience.
Share my experience
Yes, as an overseas trained teacher.
coming to New Zealand.
Yes.
So I've been here now a year just, and I taught before in Wales. I'm a science teacher like Jane, and my experience was pretty great actually coming to New Zealand. And I found it took a little bit of work, but took a bit to get my head around like the visas and all that sort of thing. But after a little bit of research, I thought it wasn't too bad in the end. Just pay the money, get the visa, start working.
Did you do it all by yourself?
I did it all by myself.
And you
Yeah.
did not have an immigration advisor?
No.
No, you did not pay for that, for
I
anything?
thought about it,
Yes.
and I looked into it, and I emailed a few companies, and
It was
by
expensive.
the time they had emailed me back, I had done it myself.
Ay, okay. Wait,
And I think it would have been like, yeah, the same price or more than the actual visa itself.
when you came to New Zealand, did you plan on working right away? Like, did you have an accredited employer worker visa right away? What did you have?
So
You were on a visit visa?
I came, yeah, just as on a holiday visa,
Mm.
which gave me 3 months of holiday, and I was actually going to go back home to Ireland. That was my original plan, and then
This was last year.
this was about this time last year. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, just over a year ago, and so I came out here on a holiday visa, and I was just looking at jobs because I wanted to come back out and have it all organised before I came out. But while I was here on the holiday visa, I saw a job opportunity that came up, and I went for an interview after I applied, and they gave me the job, and I was buzzing. And then through that job, they said, we're gonna give you the accredited employer visa or apply for it. And then I had to do a few things like part
Teaching
of the
council.
application process, teaching council, like apply for that, and then pay for it, and that was kind of it. Yeah, the thing that took longest was probably the teaching council thing, I'd say.
Because?
I did have a little bit of that done actually, now that I think about it, before I came out, but a lot of it had like expired, and I had to like do it again.
Do it again.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
did you?
So-
Were you also required to have like police certificate?
Yes.
Was it? Did it take you long to get a police certificate?
No, because I had to get a police certificate from Ireland,
Yeah.
and
And do you
they're
guys-
actually really fast at doing it. They're
Do
really
they
good
just
at
do
doing
it online too? How do you get
Pretty
police
much.
certificate in your country?
You just email the police, and then they send you like an application. So
Wow.
you have to ask them for it, and then they send you it, and you fill in basically all your history of
Yes.
addresses and that sort of jazz,
okay.
and then it comes within like a week or two, maybe
Okay.
something like that. That
For
was like
the-
really easy, and I think it's free as well.
Wow.
But in some countries,
No, like
you have to
mine,
pay
no,
for
yes.
it. Yeah, yeah. Maybe I did it. I don't think so. I don't think I had to pay for it. That was one of the things that expired though, and I had to get it again. And then I was like, oh, I have to get this thing again. But then it didn't actually take that long, so it wasn't too.
Wait.
Too bad.
So when they, this was March last year when
Yeah,
they gave you the job offer.
Yeah.
But what about, did it take a long time to get an accredited worker visa?
So maybe about a month or so from when I applied. So I think it was literally
Just a job offer.
it was about the 1st or 2nd of April that I put in the application for that myself from my end, and I think the school had already it done, and then I had gotten it
Yes.
maybe the day or two before I started. So that was on like the 27th of April
Yes,
or
yes,
something.
yes, I remember.
Last year.
Yeah.
And I specifically remember it being the very start of April, because I was thinking, oh, it's not going to be done in time, I won't be able to start work.
Yes.
But it was like 2 days beforehand it came. And I was like, all right, sweet, we're ready.
Okay, that's fast. Then.
It was fast, yeah. I also, though, I emailed whoever
The immigration.
yeah, like those sorts of people, and I said, this is urgent, I've got to start work, I've been offered a job. And I did do that maybe twice, where I said, I'm starting the job, can I get an update or whatever? And the first time they said, oh, we're going as fast as we can, you're in the queue, and that sort of thing. And then, so it just gave me a little bit more peace of mind of like that, oh, it's not been lost or something or forgotten about. And then, maybe a week before I started work, I emailed again and was like, I really need this very urgently. And then they were like, oh, it's being done at the moment, you should get it in the next few days. And then it did come.
So going here on a visit visa, then applied for a job March, got the job, applied for the visa by April 1st, so that you'll be able to work by term 2, same as me.
Yeah.
And then after that, what about when it comes to teaching council? You said it took you longer.
Yeah, I just found
was it
the
because
website was kind of like a little bit difficult to get my head around.
Yes, and there's a lot of certificates that you need to
it was just
to be
like,
certified.
Yeah, so
But do you have it with you? I mean, the documents that were required, like transcript of records, diploma, your major.
For some of it, yeah. So I needed to get the degree, like, document.
Yes.
I needed to get the transcript of the document, and then I've got my undergraduate degree and my postgraduate degree. So I did have to go looking for like email like people from my university and stuff.
Okay.
And so some of that took a little bit of time, and then I think you then need to get, for New Zealand, you need to get them certified by
Justice of Peace.
If you're in the country here, I think it's easier, because you can go to like any school, and if they're certified, or if they work for the teaching council, they can certify it for you.
So like Martin.
Yeah, so he can do it. So like the principal.
Yeah, the principal.
Here, I went to a principal of one of the primary schools.
Okay.
But then if you're at home, or like not in New Zealand, I had to go to like, it was like a justice of peace, a judge, people like that who are kind of
lawyer,
harder to get a hold of.
That's true.
You might have to pay for it.
Yes.
And that sort of thing. So I did find it actually easier to do it here, because that was one of the things I did do at home, and it was just, it took longer to get a hold of the person to like organise it, and then it expired because it was like 6 months old by the time I got here, and then I had to get it again. I was like, oh, that was such a time-consuming thing, but then it was like way easier here, and it was free.
Yes, it was free here.
It was free here. Yeah.
Is it in Ireland? Is it also free? Do you think?
It depends who you go to. So I did get it for free because I'm in there with the lads.
Wait, I have a question.
Yeah.
Your major or your undergraduate program was?
It was called Health and Performance Science.
Health and Performance Science.
Yeah.
It's not a teaching degree.
No, not a teaching degree.
So that is also a 3-year course.
Yeah.
And then after that, what did you need to do to get into teaching?
So first of all, I did my science degree, so that was like a Bachelor of Science I had.
Okay.
And once I wanted to do teaching. I then applied for a postgraduate certificate of education, or a PGCE for short.
Okay.
And so that's a 1 year course, and it's kind of like mainly focuses on placement. So they send you into the schools after a couple of weeks. You're in the school and you are a trainee teacher. And they kind of throw you in the deep end and they're like, teach that. And you're like, oh my god. And then you learn on the fly. But it's very intensive, it's hard work because you have to like prep all the stuff and teach the whole class. But we worked up from like say 30% timetable in the first placement, and then by the end of that placement, which is maybe like 2 months, you're on like 50%.
Yes.
And so it's a nice stepping stone up. And then once you start the second placement, usually that's in a different school as well, so you get like more experience of different things. And so then you go from 50% timetable to 80% timetable.
Yeah.
And that's where you finish for that year. And then so when I finished that year, I had like QTS, or qualified teacher status.
Because you studied in?
I studied in Wales.
Wales,
yes,
okay.
Which is part of the United Kingdom.
Yes.
And so.
But with that QTS thing, you did not have to take a license exam or an examination, because that is already part of the curriculum. That's
part of the course.
The
PGCE.
Yeah.
So all we had to do was, we didn't have like an end of year exam or anything. It was like just the placement. The placement was kind of the exam. You had like I suppose an observation of your class. At the end of the placement. I suppose that's kind of like your exam. And
that's cool.
And then we had throughout the year, we had like 4 assignments or so. And so they're on different topics. Maybe one of them was about behaviour in class or something, and you research all about behaviour and say what these researchers think, it's just you gaining more knowledge.
But not really an exam that you have to sit for like 2 hours, or because in the Philippines we have to do that.
Right.
But it's interesting. Okay. And what about when so you only have that? You don't need to have an English test, because
I didn't have to have an English test.
Because you're an Englishman.
An English speaker. I'm not an Englishman, Jim. You got that wrong.
I'm just kidding.
Got that out. No, I'm really joking.
No.
But English is my first language.
Yes, that's true.
So to be fair, to get into the course, I had to have a certain grade in English from my secondary school. So from like my, what's that called? High school.
High school.
From my high school.
Okay.
So let's say you had to have a C grade in English.
To be able to qualify.
And if you didn't, say if I had a D, then you would have to do an English proficiency.
So I think he got an A.
So
that's why.
A+ it was.
Okay. So with the teaching council, do you find it difficult to process everything?
The website was kind of a little bit clunky, but it wasn't too bad. And then I found like you could email the people and be like, I'm having this issue.
Yes.
I really want to become a teacher here in New Zealand, and they were kind of supportive in coming back because they want teachers here.
Yes, that's true.
I feel,
Yes, but because with us, I feel like we need a lot of things, including the English test and everything. Yeah. But you guys, that is already a tech like. You did not need to do that. Yeah. What about like references?
Yeah. So
you did have
references. Yeah, I just had references from my old school in Wales where I taught.
Yes.
So I had one that was the principal of the school.
Yeah.
And then one that was maybe my head of department or something like that.
Before coming to New Zealand as a teacher.
Yeah.
You said that you were in. We don't talk like this, by the way. It's very.
This is interview style.
Yeah, you know, we always do the crack.
We have the crack, yes. We have
Yeah,
the crack.
we don't really talk like very seriously when we talk. But what I wanted to know is, sorry, before you moved to New Zealand, you worked in Wales or at Wales for how long?
For 2 years.
And you taught what? High school?
So
High
I
schoolers?
taught, yes.
High schoolers
So
too.
high schoolers. They call it comprehensive school there.
Oh,
And
a comprehensive
so that
school.
goes from year 7 to year 13. So they're like, in year 7, they're maybe like 11 years old. And then
To 18.
until 18.
Yeah.
So I was teaching from 11-year-olds to 16-year-olds mainly. And the odd time, sometimes I would teach the younger kids when maybe people were off, like other colleagues were off work and stuff.
Was there a difference between teaching here and in Wales?
In Wales?
Because you have it for 2
There
years,
is
right?
a few differences. Mainly, like the subject content is mainly the same. So it's like science kind of anywhere. So like when I might be required to teach some atoms
Yeah.
or some chemistry or whatever, chemistry is all the same.
Yes,
and
that's
generally
right.
it's pretty similar. And the main difference I think here is
Assessment?
the assessment is a lot less kind of strenuous in a way. You know, they
Okay. Yes.
it's not like the be all and end all. It's not like the if you fail your life is over. Whereas in Wales it was kind of like, you know, you're a kid and if you fail this exam, you're gonna be a failure in life, and that's kind of the mindset of the society.
Yes.
That's what it feels like anyways. Whereas here it's much more, well, life isn't all about academics and
Yes.
you know, here they get opportunities to do like off-site, like off-school site learning, or there's different expos on, or they get to go to there's lots more sporting opportunities and things like that, where they learn skills for life, like cooking or maybe like fishing or camping or all that sort of thing, which is like useful skills and that they'll use throughout their life, you know. Whereas you might be learning about atoms in science class, but if you don't go on to do science, you're never going to use that again, really.
But you know,
it's
I
nice
think,
to have the knowledge.
but you know what? Now that you've said about that, I was thinking. So it's not just about atoms or, you know, balancing of equation, but we let the students experience chemistry through our curriculum, you know, through the New Zealand curriculum. They were able to experience science. That
Is
did
that
you know?
them doing like
Memorizing.
like experiments and
Experimenting,
stuff?
yes.
Yeah.
I would say, because
They do that here,
a lot.
a lot. Yeah, it's good.
So it's just like what you said, hands-on maybe,
hands-on.
or skill.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Hands-on.
Okay.
Like we did do a bit of that in Wales, but definitely less of it. And it was
Yes.
definitely,
More.
it was like seen as more effort or something to do, like, or a waste of time or a waste of money. Like, whereas here, it's kind of seen as, well, that's what the kids kind of want to do. They expect that out of science, and it's fun. So like when you're doing a practical like experiment, they use all the different chemicals or whatever, and they have fun and they have an experience, and then that helps them to remember, because they remember the experience. And instead of just memorizing something from a book or a name like a chemical that they've never used, there's pros and cons, like but I feel here they're for experimenting, like hands-on more, because it's fun and they want them to have a fun time out of school, or like in school, you know.
Okay, wait.
That makes sense.
Yes, that absolutely makes sense. But are you still an AEWV?
An AEWV?
Yeah.
I
Did you
am,
change
yes.
to residency?
I
New Zealand?
can change, but I haven't changed yet.
Yeah, okay.
So I'll see
Yeah.
at the time. Yeah.
Because
So I've got 5 years.
5 years,
on my
yes,
visa.
yes.
And so I've been here a year, so I have about 4 left.
Yeah.
And I've also got my partner on my visa.
Okay.
So she's kind of she's on like a partner visa.
Partner
but
worker
she
visa,
gets
yes.
5
Years also.
like the same time as me. So that was really good help.
Because she can work as, you know, as regular employees in.
Yeah, exactly. She was on like a work holiday visa before that, but that is only a 1-year visa, so
You guys have to change it.
she had to change that
yes.
to stay. Yeah.
Yes, that's true. Okay. So if you have any questions, feel free to message us. And again, this is Paul Ray.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Bye.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Happy holidays. School holidays.